Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an ultimate guide to playing Magik in Marvel Rivals. So Magik's cool because she can actually do one-hit combos if you're able to pull it off. And she also has some pretty good mobility and will heal herself as she attacks enemies. So you can see there, that combo is pretty deadly. You do have to aim decently well to pull it off, but her aim is pretty useful because you've got a very large range with your sword attacks here. There is, however, some damage fall off with her attack, so you're actually best to be up close with Magik because otherwise you'll be losing 50% of your damage at max range. But her blade does have a 6.5 meter radius, so you can see here from past the 5 meter line we're able to hit. What's also nice is when you're in close, Magik has that attack animation cancel here. So whenever you go to attack, you can immediately press your melee attack to be able to cancel that animation and deal a little bit more damage. It's not a whole lot of damage, but every little bit counts, and you actually want to be using this as much as possible. So Magik has two different combos that you want to be focusing on. The first one is starting with this range attack. This is her only range attack, going in, meleeing, and then following up with that attack there. There's a couple different ways you can initiate. You can also go, I would recommend always starting with this range attack if possible. Then you can jump in like this and then go in for your dive attack. The longest cooldown we have is on our Umbral incursion attack on E here, which dives forwards and attacks. I would actually recommend using this at close range. It's almost similar to Thor's Mjolnir spin where you dive forwards, and it's best to be close to the enemy. It'll launch them up so you can get another additional attack in that way. It has an 8-second cooldown, so you want to be managing your cooldowns as best as possible. So you can see here, using both attacks will be useful because you can go ahead and attack animation cancel, getting some pretty easy knockouts. So Magik's all about getting in and causing chaos. With her teleportation here, the stepping discs, I would recommend starting off combat with one potentially because you want to have the other one on cooldown, but you always want to save one for if you need to run away, because that's kind of part of Magik's game. As a melee attacker, you do have to be mindful that you are pretty weak if you're not really close range. So if there's ever a fight that you need to back out of, you can always use your teleportation backwards, use the Eldritch Whirl or your demon. You can drop down that demon attack. So with Magik, you want to get in close. Typically you're going to want to dive behind and go for the healers if at all possible, and that's perfect with this portal attack because you can just get in there and cause chaos just like that. Now the trick is to start off combat if possible with this range attack, getting in like this and then going with your attack and lathering them up into the air. Magik's really useful whenever there's enemies grouped together because then you can go in with this attack, drop this guy down, and he'll deal a bit of damage over time. And additionally, if there's a bunch of enemies grouped together, you can also go with the range of that attack there to be able to hit multiple people at a time. So Magik's really good obviously at close range, but whenever you're a bit farther away, it's probably best to try and flank a little bit and try to get to the back line. You can also use this here to get in back from behind and then try to get people while they're not paying attention to you. I find as Magik, you're typically a #1 target priority for tanks, so you want to try and not get their attention if possible and just go straight for the healers. Now when you go into your Dark Child form, you actually have an attack that'll hit 2 more times, which is really nice. So you can see here, it hits twice. You want to get in close again with this attack. The further away, you do have that damage fall off still. You still have your blade attack whenever you're in Dark Child, and you also have your teleportation. So you can go with things like this to be able to move around a little bit more, and then once you're in Dark Child form, you can still continue to use those attacks. So that's really nice. I would recommend using the spinning attack here. And actually the demons, if you drop the demons down, they'll have a bit more health and they'll attack with more damage. So everything gets a buff when you're in Dark Child. It doesn't last too long, so you want to be focusing on doing as much chaos as possible, and you got to be mindful of your health while you're in Dark Child. So that's another thing that you got to keep on top of. So you can see here, playing with something that's moving around, you typically want to aim slightly to the right hand side of them. I find that that's where you got the best range for being able to hit targets multiple times. But as you can see there, melee attacks do a lot of damage if you're able to line them up, so it's something you definitely want to be trying to do as much as possible. Now Magik does have pretty quick cooldowns on her attacks, which is nice. So I wouldn't recommend going in and spamming your attacks all that much, but using them wisely and often is kind of key. Without losing your final, you always want to have at least one teleport left if you can, because otherwise you're going to be leaving yourself vulnerable. So you can see here, this is kind of the combination you want to be going with. whatever ones you got off cooldown, those are going to be priority, obviously, but going with a combination of both of these, or going with a combination of all of them, can be ideal. But the two main combos, again, shooting with your blade attack here, rushing in, going animation cancel, and then your other one is going ahead with this here, trying to have your dive attack ready, and that's it right there. Those two main ones are going to help out with dealing a ton of damage as Magik. Now I'll show off what this looks like in an actual game. Playing Magik is knowing which fights to pick. So you can see here I go in, and then Punisher smoke grenades me, and I get blinded by Cloak and Dagger there, so that was a fight that I didn't want to get into. So I just went out here and was able to take out a Winter Soldier and get in and fight a tank here. So sometimes it's about getting into the position and getting back out. So that's what's nice about those portals, is you can get out of a fight really easily, and you can also use it defensively. So it's kind of a two-purpose. Now we're really useless if we're far away from enemies, so we do need to get in and close to enemies, but it's probably best to do this stealthily if at all possible. So you can see there I dropped down Darkchild, but I dropped from above so they weren't able to get me ahead of time. And that's part of the battle whenever you're dropping your ultimate, because you can be taken out. You don't have any extra health whenever you're in this. You do get the extra health that you heal from in attacks, but that's normal. Magik gets that either way. So you can see here, the melees after an attack is super useful for the extra bit of damage that you get. You never know. You want to be doing this because sometimes the enemy is just going to have a tiny bit of health left, and you're going to wish that you animation canceled your attack and got them down. But you can see here, Punishers are pretty, I don't know what it is, but you can just go behind them and attack. I've done this a few different times. Got an easy triple there as Magik. But another thing is our teleport there can actually dodge Strange's ultimate and some other ultimates. So that's really nice because it can give you an out whenever you're going to get attacked. Like Iron Man or Wanda, if they drop their ultimate and you can't get away from it, you can always just portal away if you time it right. Now another thing, you can actually damage quite a bit here whenever you're in Darkchild form, so the burst damage that you got is extremely effective just for a variety of reasons, but you got these wide-reaching area of effect attacks, but be mindful that you do want to dive out if at all possible whenever you're going to get taken out, because it's better than going back to the spawn room. So yeah, being mobile is extremely effective, and knowing where health packs are, because you do have that dash there. You saw I was dashing for a health pack because things were getting rough. But here's another really good example of playing Magik well, is getting into the fray of things and then just going for whatever targets that you're able to finish off. So Psylocke there would have just been a bit of a pain to deal with if I didn't get in there and take her out. So using your range attacks there whenever you can to start off combat, and you can see that's kind of the combo that I try to do always, and we were able to take out their healer pretty quickly that way, so that was nice. Now Magik's good whenever you're able to get close to an enemy, but you also want to be using cover like stairwells there and any other place that you can hide from, because you're most deadly at close range. And as I mentioned, you have a 50% damage fall off whenever you're at 6.5 meters, so that's the range that we don't want to be at often. If we can get in closer, we're going to have 50% more damage, so that's really, or it's going to be very important. We'll have 100% more damage, I should say. But always be looking out for healers, because you never know, they might just be one area of effect cleave away from being wiped out, so you do want to try and get into as many fights as you can to drop that down. It's all about finding the right times to use your abilities and getting in and getting out of combat with Magik, and with that you should be able to get MVP and win some more games. So let me know if this helped in the comments, hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the next one.